In this video, we're gonna be going over clean bulks versus dirty bulks, and I'm gonna tell you the truth. By the end of the video, you're gonna figure out which one you're gonna wanna do for yourself. You can add muscle without adding a bunch of unnecessary body fat and a bunch of unnecessary weight. Let's get into it. The reason that we're doing this video is number one, I spent a long time lifting, doing the dirty bulk thing, not tracking, not knowing what I was doing, and not getting optimal results. But also, I get a lot of comments and a lot of messages from you guys thinking that you're bulking when you're doing it totally wrong and all you're doing is putting on fat. We have to stop calling gaining body fat progress, and I'm gonna teach you how to do it the right way. There's 3 pillars to doing a proper bulk. The first one is small surplus. Okay, most guys, what they do is they're like, oh, I'm done with my cut, I'm gonna start bulking. And then they just add like 1,000 or 1,500 calories a day because that's what they feel like doing and they don't wanna be disciplined anymore. But that's not what works. What you wanna do is you wanna be adding 200 to maybe 400 calories a week or every 2 weeks. But you're gonna watch the scale, you're gonna look in the mirror, and you're gonna see where you're at. If the scale is moving half a pound a week on average, then you're good. If it's moving 1 pound a week on average, then you're good. But if it's moving 1.5 pounds to 2 pounds a week, that's too much. You're putting on body fat, you need to tone it down. Drop the calories back down, remove some of the carbs, possibly remove some of the fats, but we'll get into all that. Pillar number 2, hard training. Now, hard training. What that means is difficult. We're gonna add some difficulty to this by tracking our training. I know it's annoying, but progressive overload is the way that you actually get real results. If you just go in there and you're trying to move the same heavy ass weight and injuring yourself every once in a while, but you're lifting the same way every time, you're not making real progress. What you wanna do is you wanna go in there, yes, you wanna lift heavy, but you also wanna be lifting in the 8 to 15 rep range so that you can get proper hypertrophy so that you can actually build the size of the muscle. So you're going to track. This week I got, let's just say 100 pounds on bench press for 10 reps. Next week when you go back, you're gonna look at that and you're gonna say, sweet, I'm gonna bump up to 120 pounds for 10 reps. Maybe it's not 120 pounds, maybe you can't get that. Maybe it's 100 pounds, but you're gonna go 12 to 15 reps the next time. And then the week after that, it's a slow progression. Then you add weight. When you can't add weight, you add reps. But you have to track it and know what you're doing last time and what your goals are this time, because I know you're probably like me, you're in the gym and you're like, bro, really don't feel like doing 100 pounds. Let me just grab the 80s because I know that they're comfortable. No, that's for wusses. We're not doing that. We're going to here and we're going up on either weight or reps. So I mentioned that word hypertrophy. We're just gonna put hypertrophy. That means lifting in the 8 to, I think it goes all the way up to 30, but for this example, we'll say 8 to 20 rep range. A lot of guys, what they wanna do on a bulk is they just wanna get so strong. They just wanna be in like the 1 to 3 rep range. That will build strength, but it does not increase overall muscle size for the most part. Yes, a stronger muscle can become a bigger muscle, but if you're actually looking for size and density of the muscle, you need to be training in the 8 to 20 rep range so that you're forcing blood, you're stretching the fascia, which are the fibers that hold your muscle in. You need to stretch those out and pump it up full of blood so that the muscle can actually grow. I've seen a lot of guys that are super strong, they're not the biggest guy in the gym. The biggest guy in the gym typically is not the strongest guy in the gym, if you're training at a real gym. If you want size, you need to go for hypertrophy. That's a proper bulk. For the next pillar, number 3, simple tracking. Simple tracking of, like we talked about, the weights and the reps that you're doing in the gym, and also the calories that you're consuming and your body weight. Okay, we already went over weight and reps, calories. You have to be tracking the calories that you're consuming every day. You have to know what you're getting in. How much protein, how many grams of carbs, how much fat. You need to keep it consistent, and you need to be adding or subtracting based on what your body weight is doing and what the mirror is telling you. Your calories will change as your body weight changes. As your body weight goes up, your calories are also going to go up. But like I said before, make sure it's not too crazy. 0.5 pound to 1 pound a week means you're putting on mostly muscle. Like I said, anything above that, it's gonna be body fat. Body weight. The best way to track your body weight is to weigh in first thing in the morning, after you've taken a piss, before you've drank any fluids or eaten anything. You write it down 7 days a week, and then at the end of the week, you take that number and divide it by 7. That's gonna give you your average body weight for that week. Then you can compare it to the average from the week prior. That's the best way to do it. There are ebbs and flows to your body weight depending on salt, sugar, water, everything in your bloodstream, everything in your body. If you had Chinese food the night before and there was a bunch of sugar and salt, you could wake up 5 pounds later the next day because you were slamming water all night, because that crap makes you thirsty. So take your average body weight, track your calories, track your weight in reps. That is how you do a proper bulk. The next thing that we're gonna talk about, this is a clean bulk over here, okay? This is gonna be your guiding light to do a proper clean bulk. But a dirty bulk, this is what you would do. 1,000 calorie surplus, 1,500 calorie surplus per day. And then on the weekends, oh no, I slept in and I didn't actually end up eating until noon for my first meal. So by the end of the day, I only got like 1,500 calories total. Don't do that. You have to be consistent, okay? Have to be consistent. You have to keep a small surplus. As far as hard training, a lot of guys will go in there. Like I said, they're lifting in the 1 to 3 rep range. Then they get injured and they wonder, why am I not growing? Because they're still eating in the big ass surplus even though they're injured, because they're bulking. Which really, for a lot of people, bulking just means lack of discipline. And then the tracking. Over here, dirty bulk, there's pretty much zero tracking for the most part, from what I've seen. This is some of my history. We can get into more of that later, but this is just what I see from a lot of people. They don't track anything. Oh man, I can't gain weight, bro. How many calories are you eating every day? Oh man, I have no idea, I eat a lot. Or you've got the guy that's like, yeah, dude, I'm all bulked up. And they got this big old beer gut going. Well, how many calories are you eating every day? I don't know, bro. I just eat a bunch and I lift really heavy. See where I'm going with this? Does that sound like you? If that sounds like you, drop in the comments. We've all been there, and just let us know, bro, that's me right now. Or that used to be me. He's totally right. You need to do it this way. The next thing I'm gonna show you is how to calculate your maintenance calories so you can figure out what your surplus needs to be. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna take your body weight times a number like 12. If you're super active, you're a construction worker, you're getting like 15,000 steps a day, sweating your ass off all day, like 5-6 days a week, you could probably use a number like 13 or 14. But for most of us, myself included, I train hard, I do cardio every day, but I do sit at a desk for a couple hours a day. I'm gonna use 12. You can always bump it up from there, but you'll take your body weight times 12, and that's gonna yield your maintenance calories. So if you're a 200-pound man like myself right now, times 12, that's gonna give you 2,400 calories per day. Now, you're gonna wanna add, like I said, 200 to 400 calories per day. So you take that number, and let's just say you started with 200. So you bump up to 2,600 calories per day. Run that for a week. Watch the scale. Like I said, weigh yourself every morning, same conditions, track your weight. At the end of the week, take the average. You can see where it's at. If it's up over 1.5 pounds, you may need to back this back down to 2,400 and eat at 2,400 calories for like 2 weeks and see if that's really your maintenance. Because if you're gaining weight at 2,400 calories, that still ain't even your maintenance. Your maintenance might be lower, it may even be higher. But that's how you're gonna figure out your maintenance calories. You're gonna need to play with it. And then once you find the sweet spot, let's say 2,600 is the sweet spot, you gain 1 pound 1 week, you gain another pound the next week, and then it starts to stall, then you add another 200. Now what can happen as you add food, sometimes, especially in the beginning, your metabolism will ramp up, your BMR, your basal metabolic rate will be elevated. So sometimes you'll add calories and you'll actually lose weight. So you might need to chase it down. You may need to be adding 400 and 400 to find your maintenance and figure out, okay, this is the sweet spot where I'm gaining on average half a pound to a pound per week. Next thing we're gonna go over is macros. How do you split up the 2,600 calories? Let's get into it. So we'll write macros, and we've got our surplus, our maintenance plus 200 was 2,600 calories. Now we need to break that up into protein, carbohydrates, and fats. So rule of thumb is 1 gram per pound of body weight. There's some people that say less, some people that say more. I like 1 gram per pound. So it's a 200-pound man was what we were using in the example. 2,600 calories. Protein equals 200 grams. Now, there's 4 calories per gram of protein. So 200 grams of protein is equal to 800 calories. Okay, now we want dietary fat around 20% of our overall calorie intake. So we need to take 2,600 calories, multiply that by 0.2 to figure out what 20% of 2,600 is. 2,600 times 0.2 is 520 calories. Now, there's 9 calories per gram of fat. So 520 divided by 9 is gonna be 57.777 forever, but we bulking, so we gonna round it up to 58 grams. So, equal sign, 58 grams of fat. Now we gotta figure out carbs. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take 2,600, we're gonna subtract 520 calories from fat, we're gonna subtract 800 calories from protein, which is, cheat sheet, I had to do all this math. 2,600 minus 5 minus 520 is 1,280 equals 1,280 calories coming from carbohydrates, which equals, we're gonna divide that by 4 because there's also 4 calories per gram of carbohydrates. That is gonna yield a whopping 320 grams of carbohydrates. This is a great macro split, I think, for getting started. Now, as you add body weight, you're gonna be adding calories. As you're adding calories, these numbers are going to change. Sometimes, especially if you're enhanced, if you're taking, the reason we have dietary fat in our diet, a lot of it is for hormones, hormone production. If you're taking testosterone, you're giving yourself hormones, so you don't create hormones. So for natty guys, you're gonna wanna keep your fats a little bit higher. If you are a guy that's on TRT and you're taking hormones and your body doesn't need to create as many naturally, you can actually keep this number a little bit lower and bump some of those calories up to fat. All I'm trying to say is, as you're adding calories, these will obviously need to be reevaluated. Keep protein at 1 gram per pound of body weight. Keep your fats around 20%. I like to keep my fats a little bit on the lower side, even when I was natural, and I would max out 70, 80 grams maybe, and then I would just shove all the rest of my calories into carbohydrates. That's the way that I've liked to do it, and I've had a lot of success in the past. That's gonna work best if you start from a really lean state. You should, when you're bulking, truthfully, you should only start a bulk if you already have visible abs and a 6-pack, because your body's gonna be super sensitive to the carbohydrates that you're feeding it and the calorie surplus that you're putting it into, so it's gonna be a lot more effective in the long run. Now there's 2 things that I wanna talk about. I wanna talk about nutrient timing and supplementation. So we've got nutrient timing and supplementation. So you wanna eat your carbs around your workout, before and after. You want the bulk of your carbohydrates in the day around your workout. If you work out early in the morning, first thing in the morning, my best recommendation to you is to actually not have carbs before your workout. Have a whey protein shake. It's got a lot of calcium in it, and calcium acts as your body's on switch. So calcium is gonna help you get in there. It's gonna help you be aggressive with the weights, and it's gonna protect your muscles, because protein protects your muscles. The amino acids, that's a whole nother science experiment that we could get into, but have the protein before and then have the bulk of your carbs afterwards. If you work out later in the day, shove more of your carbs up to before your workout and immediately after. Carbs around your workout. Fats, you want away from your workout, okay? You want to keep your fats away from your workout because dietary fat slows digestion down. Around your workouts, you want fast digesting foods. Like one of my favorite post-workout meals, if you guys have followed me for a while on Instagram or maybe even here on YouTube, you've seen me eating rice checks with whey protein. There's almost no dietary fat. Both of those things digest super fast, almost immediately. That's a great post-workout meal. Have fats later on in the day if you work out early, dinner, and then if you work out later in the day, you could even have eggs and avocado and stuff like that in the morning. And like I said, push your carbs around your workout because that's when you want your digestion to be the quickest. That's really the biggest thing. As far as protein goes, I'll just be all pro. You want to eat that with every meal, okay? Don't be trying to have like every other meal be just like a strictly carb meal. You want to have protein with every single meal. It digests better for your body. Ultimately, you want to be giving yourself protein like every 2 to 4 hours. That's the best way to do it. Now, what's going to help is some supplementation, okay? Standard stuff for anybody. Creatine is awesome. Keep creatine away from your pre-workout because it fights with caffeine. That's not what you want. That's just a quick little tidbit. It's not the be all end all, but you do want to try and keep creatine away from caffeine intake. So I'll have mine post workout. Another one that not a lot of guys talk about is gonna be berberine. Now there's products like a GDA, a glucose disposal agent, or another really good product by Leviathan called GlucoSurge. These have berberine in them, but basically what they do is they keep your blood sugar levels regulated. They keep you sensitive to insulin, and it really helps you digest those carbohydrates and put them to use like you want your body to use them. Berberine is something that I take on an empty stomach in the morning and before every high carb meal. Berberine's super important. Another one, fish oil. Now I know that's super boring. We probably all have a fish oil that we started taking because we were excited when we got it. We burped up fish oil a couple of times. We're like, it's nasty, I don't want to take it. Fish oil is very important. I take 4 fish oil pills a day post meals. I will push it after my workout. So like lunchtime, dinner time, post workout, and then I'll fit another one in throughout the day. But I'll take 4 fish oil pills a day. That makes sure that your joints are lubed up. It's good for your heart, but also the fat in there is gonna help your body uptake those micronutrients that you're getting from your meals. Those are kind of the main ones. There's a couple more, there's tons more that you can throw in there, but these are the ones that I really wanted to hit on. And this one especially, and this one especially, most guys do not include in their bulking supplementation regimen. Let's go over a quick full day of eating. This is some free game for you guys. I put together a little meal plan. So, full day of eating, 2,600 calories, 200 grams of protein, 320 grams of carbs, 58 grams of fat. Like we just talked about, this is what it could look like. Pre-workout, 1 scoop of whey protein powder, like I talked about. Get yourself going, no carbs. This is assuming that you're working out first thing in the morning. No carbs before your workout. You've got the calcium, you're waking your body up, you're protecting your muscles. Post-workout, super easily digesting. 1 scoop of whey protein, 100 grams of rice check cereal, 1 banana. Meal 3, 5 ounces of chicken breast, 250 grams of jasmine rice, white rice. I like white rice versus brown rice, and 3 dates, okay? Meal number 4, now you can see we're adding a little bit more fat later in the day. 6 ounces of 90-10 ground beef, which is fattier than chicken, 250 grams of rice. Same thing, meal number 5, 90-10 ground beef with a little bit less rice because it's further and further away from our workout. And then for dessert, 1 scoop of whey protein powder plus 25 grams weighed out on a food scale of peanut butter. It's where a lot of people go wrong. They'll just get a big old heap and helping of peanut butter. It's like 400 calories if you're not careful. So that is what a potential full day of eating could look like at 2,600 calories. You start eating this for a little bit, you're training hard, you're doing your 10-15 minutes of cardio a day, like I would prescribe one of my clients on a bulk. This is gonna be pretty damn easy to eat, and you're gonna be ready to add more calories real soon. Now, the reason I'm under-emphasizing the training and over-emphasizing the nutrition portion is because what I've seen in my own life and a lot of other people's lives, the training is not the most important part, okay? You could run the same training plan, the same training split on a cut as you run on a bulk, but in a cut, you're gonna be focused on heavier weights and really maintaining that muscle mass that you put on during your bulk. And on a bulk, you need to be using lower weight, higher volume sets with a little strength stuff mixed in, but the training is not the most important part. The nutrition is the most important part, the part that everybody tends to under-emphasize. So that's why we're over-emphasizing supplementation, meal timing, nutrient timing, carbs, fats, protein, macros, and tracking. Most people think that muscle is built in the gym, but that is not true. The hour that you spend in the gym, you're tearing your muscles down. Muscle is built outside the gym the other 23 hours of the day. Here's 3 things that I want you to do every single day on your bulk to make sure that you're staying healthy and doing it right. Rest. Now, rest is getting your body into a parasympathetic rest and digest state, okay? When you go to the gym, you're amped up, your adrenaline's flowing. You wanna spend a little bit of time there at the gym, but the other 22, 23 hours of the day, you really want your body to chill. You just wanna be cruising. You don't wanna be stressed out. You don't wanna be tripping. You need to rest. Now that also includes sleep. 7 to 9 hours a night if you can handle it, okay? That's gonna be optimal. You have to get your rest in because that is when your body is repairing your muscles, building your muscles. The other one is recovery. Goes hand in hand with rest, but recovery looks like proper supplementation, drinking your water, gallon and a half a day, and getting your meals in, okay? Because the meals, having the protein to repair the muscle fibers, having the carbohydrates to replenish the glycogen stores, having the dietary fat to produce the hormones and carry the micronutrients to the rest of your body where they need to go. Recovery, very important. The third one, and most guys leave this one off. They might nail the other 2, but cardio. Cardio is so important on a bulk. Number 1, it's gonna keep your appetite elevated because it's gonna eventually be hard to eat 3, 4, 5,000 calories, which might be what it takes for you to actually be still gaining weight. So you have to keep your cardio in for appetite. Also, it's healthy for your heart. You're putting on weight. Like, think about that. Overweight people have heart problems. We are putting on weight on purpose, so we have to make sure that we take care of our heart and we get our cardio in. But also, it keeps your body sensitive to insulin. Now, being sensitive to insulin means when you eat all those carbs, your body's actually gonna utilize them properly, digest them properly, and you're not gonna be using those carbs to store excess body fat. You're gonna be building muscle with them. Do not neglect cardio. I want you to be focusing on these 3 things daily. So I'm gonna show you real quick 2 examples of the same guy. One of them did a dirty bulk and the other one did a clean bulk. See the difference? This guy was eating 6,000 calories a day, and get this, pretty clean, but he was doing a 6-egg omelet with cheese and sour cream and bacon every day with a baked potato and a bowl of oatmeal, 1 cup dry of oats, maple syrup, peanut butter, jelly. This guy thought he just needed to eat big to get big. This guy over here understood, get lean first, slow increases. You don't need 6,000 calories right off the bat. Watch the mirror, make sure those abs are still visible the entire time. Once they're gone, it's time to start backing off. This guy did it right. Don't be like that guy. All this information would mean nothing without implementation. So I want to challenge you guys for 1 week. Implement. Confirm your maintenance calories, add your 200 calorie surplus, create 2 repeatable meals that you're gonna be able to repeat every single day without fail, like ground beef and rice or chicken and rice. Set your workout split. Figure out if you're gonna run push-pull legs, a bro split, upper lower. Figure that out and start your logbook. Start logging how many reps and how much weight you're using so that you can track. Start tracking your weight daily. Like I said, first thing in the morning, same circumstances every day, in your undies, after you've taken a piss, write it down every day, get your weekly average. And then take progress photos. You always want to take before photos, and then you want to take progress photos every week so that you can compare. That's how I looked last week. These are the changes I'm seeing this week. Getting a little too fluffy. I'm not really seeing changes. Need to add more calories. That's the best way to figure it out. Like I said, All this information is nothing without implementation. I challenge you to do this for 1 week and then report back in the comments when you finished it. So to wrap things up, one of the things I wanted to touch on is the best time to ever do a bulk is after a successful cut. When you're nice and lean, you've got visible abs, that's when you're at your most anabolic state. Now, a lot of people, when they hear the word anabolic, they think that it means muscle growth. That's not the case. Anabolic just means growth. So if you're not resting, recovering, fueling, training properly, or doing your cardio, the growth is gonna be from body fat. If you're doing everything that I taught you in this video, then you're gonna be getting the most out of that anabolicness by putting on muscle mass. So if you got a lot out of this video, drop me a comment, let me know. If you have any questions, drop them below as well. I will answer them. Happy bulking, and I'll see you on the next one.